Welcome to Off Script. I am Jamaal Bernard, and my guest here today is a man of God, as well as a politician. And we're going to talk about the juggling of those two. But Senator Warnock, thank you so much for being here today. I thank you because my dad always told me, he said, one of the biggest things you can do is respect somebody's time. And so I respect your time, and I say thank you for making time for this off-script session. So thank you.
No, great to be here with you, and my regards to your dad. Much respect and love for your family.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that guy too. He's yeah. But so we're gonna dive right into it because looking at the way things are going, and we're not gonna spend too much time on politics, because it's a topic that is inexhaustible, right? We can go on for a while, but just a little bit behind the scenes. How is the climate? Looking at all the stuff that's going on in the nation, with the decisions that are being made. How is the climate really?
Well, there's no question that we live in a very divided time in our country, and now more than ever, we need voices of faith and voices of moral courage to show up. These are tough times, but I want people to remember that we've seen tough times before.
Yes, we have.
And I know it's dark right now, but the scripture tells us that the light shines in the darkness.
Amen.
It's dark, but the light shines in the darkness.
Yes.
The darkness overcometh it not. So that's the work that I try to do in the Senate. As a legislator, it's the work that I try to do every Sunday from my pulpit, and as a pastor, it's the work that I try to do as a father, and it's the work that I'm trying to do in this book, Leo's Lunchbox, try to point us into a different direction.
Yeah, this is because we want to talk about this book.
Of course.
Because I've written books, but to write a child's book is difficult. It's not as easy as people think it is, right?
They're the toughest. They're the toughest crowd.
Yes, like even teaching Sunday school. Sunday school is actually one of the tougher crowds as well because they're like, that doesn't make no sense, Mr. Bernard, right? And they'll call you out on it.
But isn't that great?
Yes.
Kids ask the questions in church.
Yes.
That somebody told us we can't ask anymore.
Yes. Yep.
No one told them that, so they asked really good questions.
Especially this younger generation now.
Yeah.
And they ask the questions that adults should be asking as well. So
good questions.
We're gonna get into the book, but I got just one more question about politics. Okay,
sure.
Let me not say one more because I don't want to be a liar on this. It might end up having more.
You got me here. I understand. I'm sitting in this seat.
Yes.
I get it.
I just want to know because you said this is what you do, in Washington. This is what you do in the pulpit. How do you do that? How do you juggle the two seats? Because you got the whole idea of the 501c3 statute that we have to operate and function, but yet you're a senator, so you're working for the government. And that whole idea of separation of church and state. How? This is. I always wanted to ask a pastor that's in politics.
So let me begin by saying that I am a firm believer, and I am a firm believer in the separation of church and state.
See, I know that. This is why we can't say just one more question because now you got me asking another question.
But
go ahead.
I think it's so important. It's so important. The separation of church and state is part of this grand experiment in American democracy, and I don't want to see the state encroach on the church in places where it shouldn't be, and by the same token, the government should not establish a religion, and so I don't want the state to behave like the church.
Yes.
So those things are separate. Say, well, how is that true? And you're a senator and a pastor. I think I'm a good demonstration. At least I try to be of what that actually looks like. My faith informs my work in the Senate in terms of my values. But I think these are values that are resonant in all of the grand faith traditions.
Yes.
Mercy, compassion for your neighbor, love, truth-telling, justice-making. That is work that is informed by my faith as a Christian coming out of the Martin Luther King tradition, which is the church I lead, Ebenezer Baptist Church. But I'm not trying to introduce the creeds and the orthodoxy of my faith. And I get deeply concerned. I'm deeply concerned about this rise in Christian nationalism in our country. I think it's dangerous.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
it
think
is. I agree.
I think the best way really to bear witness to our faith is to be compassionate, particularly compassionate towards marginalized others, which
Yes.
includes immigrants
Mm-hmm.
and people who have some other tradition other than Christian faith, which is
Yeah.
probably still it's still the dominant and loudest voice among the among the religious traditions.
Yeah, because you can't have that conversation with too many individuals because some people believe that Christianity should be the state religion, but it was never designed to be a
No,
state
let me
religion, right?
be
It was never designed to be that
let
state
me be
religion.
really clear. I'm a man of faith, but I am a student of history,
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing worse than violence and bigotry is when it's fueled by religion. And
You say that one more time
I
for
have
the viewers.
no
I gotta hear that.
because
Write that down.
when you feel like
Yes.
God sent you to do it, it gives you a
Yes.
certain. So I have no desire
Mm-hmm.
to live in a theocracy,
Yeah, yeah.
Christian, Islamic, or Jewish. No, I live in a state. I live in a country that respects people's right for the free exercise of their
Yes.
faith, but we live in our faith and under the law.
Yeah, and that's what I tell people. I said, and I actually thank God that Christianity wasn't designed to be a state religion because I think that would have limited its reach that it has had around the world. And so I'm excited, and we've been praying for you. We're going to be
Thank
praying
you.
for you. But now we got because we can talk about that, like I said, all day. You wrote this book, a book for children, which once again is a difficult book to write. Please tell us what was the inspiration behind the book before we even get into the
Well,
book.
quite literally, the feeding of the 5,000. This book,
For those who are not watching, what is the feeding of the 5,000?
The loaves and the fish. You don't have to go to Sunday school. Everybody knows that story. You can be a Sunday school dropout.
Yes.
And you know the miracle story of the 2 fish and the 5 loaves.
Yes.
By the way, it's a story, Jamaal, Pastor, that clearly the church, the early church, loved this story. You know why I know? It's the only miracle story that's in all 4 Gospels.
Yes.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And in the version that I chose,
Outside of the resurrection.
well, okay, the resurrection. I'm talking about Jesus. Okay,
Okay, let me behave.
We're not going to have a theological. I'm talking about the miracle stories.
Yes, okay.
I think the resurrection is its own
Yes.
thing. It is miraculous, to be sure. Now, this in one of the Gospels, there's the disciples say there's a little boy here who has some loaves and some fish, but what are they among so many? And so I'm inspired by the spirit of that text. And Leo's Lunchbox is about food insecurity. It's about a kid who literally is tired of those bologna sandwiches, which is the only thing his mom can afford.
Yeah.
And she gets him a lunchbox from a secondhand store, and something happens in the midst of that story that I tell. The children who are there learn something about generosity and what happens when we're generous enough to think about other people.
Yeah, and that's good because I remember growing up not having a lot. You know, you get the no frills cheese, and you can never cut the slice, so it has that slant in the block of cheese that you get from the public schools. That and,
Government cheese.
Yeah, government cheese. Yes, I think the box was it was flakes. It wasn't like cornflakes. It was just flakes. It was like a white box with red and brown, around it. Right.
I remember that.
And so when I read the book, I'm like, wow, this is actually powerful. So it's telling me that you have a heart to deal with the issues of food insecurities. Why is that so deep in your heart?
1 in 5 children in America, the wealthiest nation on the planet, are food insecure and literally don't know where their next meal is coming from. I think that reality is a reflection not of poverty of resources in our country. It's a poverty of moral courage and moral imagination. No kid should go to school hungry. Certainly not in our country. No kid should go to school hungry, period. But certainly in the wealthiest nation on the planet, and yet for 1 in 5, that's true. And so the book is a moral call, but it's more than that. Very often, as you know, the right thing to do is also the smart thing to do. When children go to school hungry, the data shows
Yeah.
that they are not as focused. Surprise, surprise. We literally have data on higher test scores. I think as much as 20 points when kids have breakfast, for example, at school. And so it's in our enlightened self-interest to invest in all of our children. And Leo's Lunchbox is my way of saying to the adults who are reading these stories to children that no child's outcome should be based on their parents' income.
Yeah.
We should find a way to make that right in America.
Did you hear that? No child's outcome should be based on no parent's income. That's a powerful statement. And it's true to the point where you saw commercials before state exams or letters written from the teacher saying, please make sure your kids eat breakfast because we know that they do better on their state exams, right? If they have a meal.
Yeah. So
So
nutrition
Yes.
is so very important, and this book comes at a time when our government, the administration, and the Republicans in Congress are very focused on passing a tax cut for billionaires, literally, in our country, the wealthiest of the wealthy. And, I'm on the finance committee. So I know what's going on here. In order to do that, they're talking about cutting as much as $800 billion from Medicaid. 71% of the people on Medicaid in Georgia are children. They're talking about cutting SNAP, that's the Supplemental Nutritional Agricultural Program that helps families. They're talking about cuts through the Department of Ag to some of the food banks that provide fresh foods to school children. And they're saying that they're going to cut Head Start. Well, you're looking right now not only at a United States Senator, not only the pastor of the church that Dr. King led, you're looking at a Head Start alone, which is that program that ensures that kids who are very, very young, preschool age, have access to books, which is a different kind of food.
Yes.
It's nutrition for the mind. And when we make sure that children have these basic needs, we not only nurture their bellies, but we nurture the future.
Yes,
We
I agree.
set the terms for America to be as great as its promise.
Yeah. Wow, man. There's so many different directions we can go. How has the book been resonating with the people that have been reading it? Have you received any reports?
I did a very complicated and sophisticated research project when I was writing this book. I read it to my 8-year-old and my 6-year-old. If it passes the Chloe and Caleb test, chances are it'll do pretty good. So my kids who feel no obligation to make me feel good, said that they liked the book, and so far in the places where I've been reading it, it's been a hit with the kids, and I think the adults have enjoyed it as well.
All right. Well, before we get a little further, because I meant to ask you this question, just for those who are watching and trying to grasp this, what in essence is food insecurities? Because I know we got food insecurities, food injustice, and we have a big program that we do, and especially during COVID, we fed over 97,000 individuals just in 1 year. So we saw that there was a need for it, and I think food insecurities is not subject for what we've seen. They would say to people of color only, but you see it now running rampant around America. But I said no, there's still a reality that it's really still hitting us even further and more difficult.
Well, yeah, and we're seeing increasing food insecurity in this moment where we're seeing inflation. And over the last few months, that inflation is getting worse. And at the same time, there are talks about cutting SNAP and other programs. So you're going to see more people experience food insecurity, as you point out. It's certainly not something that is limited to one race. Most of the people in our country on SNAP are white families. Most of the folks who need those kinds of benefits. So, I remember growing up in public housing, free lunch kid, Head Start kid, in Caton Homes housing projects. And across the street was Fraser Homes. and I've been thinking about this lately when I've been talking about this book, but there was a kid there. His name was Michael. And his family was the only white family, as far as I could see, that lived in our neighborhood. And so here we are in when was that? I guess the late 70s, late 70s. They're the only white family in that neighborhood. And all of us, none of us had, much. We lived in the projects. But he seemed to be having a particularly hard time. You could see his poverty. You could see it. It was palpable. And I remember, just feeling really sad as a classmate, as a kid, for this kid who had less than I did. By the way, there's a kid that mirrors that kid in this book. His name is Andy. And sometimes I think about Michael. And I can see his face. By the way, he was a little white kid. And I don't know what came of him. He could be doing just fine as far as I know. But I'm fighting for that kid. Fighting for him in this book as I tell this story. And I'm fighting for him in the policies that I try to push forward as a pastor who serves in the United States Senate. In his very first sermon, you know this, Jesus read from Isaiah, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor." For me, the acid test of the depth of our faith and the gospel that we preach is its commitment to the poor, which is why I'm glad that I introduced legislation just 2 weeks ago that would extend the child tax credit, which would go a long way with cutting child poverty in our country.
Yeah, because me having 5 kids,
Wow. You're going to be preaching a long time.
Yeah, yes, I will. The timing's going to look a little different for me. So, Senator, Leo's Lunchbox. Where did you get the name Leo from?
Well, Leo is a kind of a stand-in for me, actually. This is not my story, but I know a little bit about, what it means to have not a lot.
Wow.
All of the other children, by the way, I'll let you in on something.
Okay.
All of the other children in the book are named after disciples.
Okay.
But you have to look closely. Nate.
Yes. All right.
Pete, Phil, Maria, Joanna. So they're all disciples. And Manuel, Emmanuel.
Yes.
God is with us.
Yes. So
I'm doing some other things in the story.
I was gonna go deep because I'm like Leo, lion,
I am okay.
Lion of Judah.
Lion of Judah.
Okay. All right.
I am also a Leo.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay.
I'm not pushing for zodiac signs, but I'm a preacher. I like alliteration. Leo's Lunchbox.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Senator, you've set a tone, which there is history that has been made, and I think one of the conversations I tend to have in certain arenas is we'll say, "Oh, that's an all-black cast. It's amazing. We're excited. Oh, that's a black producer," and they say, "Why do you make reference to that?" And I said, "Well, and he said not I'm being ignorant right now asking this question because I don't want to start anything." He said, "But why do you celebrate it?" I said, "Because you and your kid has a constant model that they see of what seats they want to sit in, what areas they want to be in, where success looks for them." I said, "We don't have that many models. So when we have it, we celebrate it." So and a part of that is celebrating you for becoming a model for the younger individuals to step in to a senator seat. To say this is a possibility, to be a pastor and a senator at the same time. This is a possibility. So, but my bigger question is, with all that being said, what would you say to your younger self, being that you're a model for some of the young individuals?
Well, when I look back at my youth, I always had a great sense of humor, but I'd probably tell that kid, particularly during my college years, relax a little bit, kid.
Okay.
It's going to be all right.
Relax a little bit. It's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay.
I was a very serious young man.
Oh, yeah? Because you're a very serious man. so it's believable, you know?
I had a sense of, I'm not saying, there was laughter, but I was,
Gotta get the
you're
work
trying
done.
you're trying to figure out how you're going to get this done. I was the first college graduate in my family, and so
Okay.
I knew I wasn't going back
Yeah.
to that apartment.
Yeah. You're
So I
not going to be a
stayed-
statistic,
So I stayed
right?
very focused.
Yeah. But Senator, thank you so much. Man, I wish we had more time. One, just to get to know you a lot more, just through this
Stay in touch.
conversation. But, it's off script, so I try to ask a question off script. And I'm not going to say any names, but my producer told me I had to ask one question. But, looking at being in Atlanta, right? You're an Atlanta person, and we're going to start some trouble here. Ready? We're going to start
I
some
can
trouble.
tell by the way you're hemming and hawing. I'm sitting here like, what is this?
Where is the best place, right? And this is overall. Like if I'm going out to Atlanta, I'm hungry and I want to get my grub on. I'm just hungry. You can't say, well, in this cuisine and that cuisine. What is the number one spot if I had to go eat in Atlanta? You see, this is where we're gonna start trouble. All right. I'll make it a little easier. So
Well,
we want to make sure you get your vote. You continue getting voted in.
Well, it's
So
not
we'll
it's not a restaurant. It's
okay.
I'll just tell you this. She's a member of my church.
Okay.
So if you want a shot at getting some of that food, drop by Ebenezer Church.
Okay. I like that answer.
Yeah.
I like that, man. That's a politician right there. That was a politician that came out with that answer. Well, I have to go to Pascal's. Something about
is great.
Pascal's.
The fried chicken.
Yes, the fried chicken.
fried chicken.
Yeah, I'm like, what they put in there? There's a big toe in there. There's a big toe in there somewhere.
It is a special recipe. So I knew the Pascal brothers, or I should say I met one of them. One, by the time I came back to Atlanta, one was already deceased. But I knew James Pascal. Mm-hmm. And, they're legendary. That's where Dr. King and others gathered. Mm-hmm. And he said at one point he told me, and he's been dead for years now, but he said he had a manager or somebody he brought on, some young whippersnapper and he said, I was thinking about a tweak that I want to make to the fried chicken. He said, young man, don't touch the fried chicken.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, that chicken's great.
Yeah. But thank you, for the book. If for the people watching or listening, where can they find this book?
Oh, they can find it everywhere books are sold. It's in bookstores. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. Your local bookstore.
Okay.
That's where I love people.
Right.
See people go and buy the book, but it's wherever books are sold.
And then for those churches that still have bookstores that are watching that video, where can they get it to stock up on their shelves?
They can. My publisher is Penguin Random House. I'm sure that they won't be mad at me saying that.
Okay.
And, so reach out to us. Go through your local bookstores or wherever you get your books distributed. Yeah, I'd love to see this book in church bookstores. So I'm telling you in advance, no, this is not the story of the feeding of the 5,000.
Okay.
That story's already been told.
Yes.
It's a modern day
twist on it.
Fictitious story for children. But it does reflect what I think about what's going on in that miracle. I think we tend to focus on the multiplication. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a miracle of generosity.
Yes.
That catches fire in the crowd.
Yes, and generosity became contagious.
This little boy brings a lunch, so why do you think he was the only one who brought something?
Yes.
I think part of the miracle, at least of that story, is actually the generosity that catches fire.
Yes.
And everybody gets to eat and thrive as a result of that.
Yeah, they say generosity becomes contagious when it's done in a way that people are excited to be generous. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your gifts.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate it. Once again, Jamaal Bernard, off script with special guest, Senator Warnock. And if they want to follow you, where can they follow you? Social media handles.
Yeah, I'm on all the social media channels. Just go to Raphael Warnock, whether you're on Instagram or Twitter or Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. All right. That's a new thing.
Facebook, we're there.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.